Well, thanks for doing this with me. I'm so excited that our song is out.
I know, me too. I'm really stoked.
It always feels like I feel like so much build up and then the song finally comes out and I always feel like a relief.
Yeah, yeah. It's
We wrote
funny.
this
The
song and
adrenaline.
wait, sorry, what's that?
Yeah, the adrenaline of it. And then it comes out and you're like, all right,
I
like now
know,
the world does it.
totally. We wrote this song so long ago.
It was 2018, right?
Was it? Oh my God, I didn't
No, no,
even
no,
realize
no,
it was that.
2019,
I was
2019.
gonna say maybe
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah,
Um,
like early 2019.
was it the first song we ever wrote together?
Yeah.
Wow, because we've written so much since then, which is like
Mhm.
you're one of my favorite people to write with. That's so crazy. And do you remember how we met?
It was,
Because I don't really remember.
yeah, BMI.
I was
We
thinking,
met and Alex, you and Alex were there and you played you played a demo. You remember it was like
was
you
it
played
at
like
that
30 seconds
bar?
of a song. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard your vocal and I was like, oh shit, I have to work with this girl. And then it was cool. And then we just linked up.
Yeah. And how much has changed since then? It's so crazy.
I know.
But back in the day when we could go to bars and be in like a crowded room, I do remember that. You're right. And it was this BMI event where people could come in and they hooked it up to this sound system in this like loud bar and people would just play demos. And I met a
Dude,
bunch
it
of
was
cool
so
people that
nice.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I remember too when we wrote Pity Party, I feel like I was sort of in like a pretty shit place mentally. And you've always been somebody that I don't know why, but I immediately just trusted you and was like, this is my life
Good,
and
good.
this is why I'm feeling down and whatever. And I like immediately felt like I could just kind of vent to you. So I feel like that's kind of
Good.
where the song came from, right?
Yeah, yeah. You were having, I think, yeah, we were just talking about life and, the struggles of the music business that everyone goes through. And then I had that stupid guitar loop and you were just speaking lyrics as I was playing it. And it was just like, oh,
Yeah,
we
I
have a song.
remember I wanted sort of like an electric guitar, and I think it was the first thing you played was what we ended up using
Yeah.
for the chords. And I remember just kind of singing, and I feel like it was one of those choruses that literally just like fell out of me, and you were like, okay, that.
That was it.
I
No,
actually,
dude, I literally just tried to get out of your way. And that's what I feel like with you is like because you'll just like do these things naturally, and I'm like, okay, it's just like catching gems and being like just stepping out of the way and being like, okay, that was amazing, or
that's one of the reasons that I love working with you because I feel like for me as a writer, I feel like I'm a pretty big like ideas person. I just always have ideas and whatever. And my hardest, the thing that I struggle with most is being able to kind of sift through those ideas and figure out what's worth keeping and what's not. And sometimes I
Yes.
get really judgmental of my own ideas and myself, and I'll be like, well, that's not good enough or that's not good enough. So for me, it's really helpful to have somebody um, validate something and be like, wait, that's worth running with. Let's see what that could be. And I remember it being a pretty easy, just kind of day. And the song happened quite quickly, if I remember.
Oh, it was awesome. I remember you sent me the vocals, the demo vocals like that night, and I was like, this is a tune and a half. It was awesome.
Well, and the funny thing is too, I was feeling really down about the industry, which anyone who's been in music for a decent amount of time probably can relate to that feeling, or any industry that's not super cut and dry. It's tough. You've been in the game for a long time. I've been in it for a couple years, and it just really makes you question a lot. And for me, it really was, I was questioning myself and I was questioning why I took this path. And I always think about, I was living on the west side in LA and you're in what, Hollywood, right? And I
Yeah.
was driving to your apartment and I was just sitting in like LA traffic and I was just really over it. You know what I mean? And I was really kind of fed up with the industry and with Los Angeles. And it was one of those kind of quintessential moments where I was driving through Hollywood and I was like, fuck this, to be honest. You know what I mean? And I had just been doing so many sessions. And ironically, the song that came out of that is, now one of my favorite songs. And we got Smarter Child to produce it, who is just a
Amazing.
legend, and like it
Yeah.
was just kind of ironic that the song that was this song about me kind of giving up is the one that he really latched onto and was like, this is an incredible song.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
No, the second you started singing too, I knew like I was so excited to work with you, and you like have this like great Gatsby style. I mean, we've talked about it. You have this like classic sound, and you always put this like pop twist on it. So the second you started singing these melodies, I was like, dude, and you could sing anything, and it's just gonna sound
Oh,
great.
well, thank
But that song was just like it was like magic.
It really was. And I think sometimes the best songs are those ones that just like you don't have to try that hard. It sounds kind of
Exactly.
counterintuitive, but I think the best ones are the ones where they're just kind of meant to be. And that's how this one felt for me. It just felt meant to be. It was like the first thing
Absolutely.
that you played, the first thing that I sang, and the rest of it was
Yeah, yeah.
it just kind of happened. And one of my favorite things about the song too is because I think the chorus came first when we were writing it. I think the chorus was the first thing we
Yes.
wrote. But
Yeah.
the verses, I love the verses because I think we kind of, I don't even know if this was intentional or not, but I think we ended up kind of treating sadness and misery like a vice, like this really
Yes.
deliciously beautiful vice that you just kind of want to indulge in. Like we talk about chocolate and diamonds and things like that, and putting sadness in that category. I haven't really heard that done
I've
before.
never heard that. I've
Yeah.
never heard it before. Dude, when I listened back to the song, because I like took time away from it, but like here, like when you talk about, oh, we're gonna release it, so I go and listen back. Every time, it always gets me. I'm like, these lyrics are fucking phenomenal. Like you're just on
We
fire.
did that.
So I know, dude.
But it's
It
crazy
was
too
great.
because people don't realize how long the process can be from like the conception of a song to when it actually comes out. And I feel like it was one of those songs where I was telling you for like months and months, like, don't worry, we're going to put it out. We're going to put it out. I love this song. I love this song. And then just, it's years later when it finally comes out. And I
Yeah,
actually had a lot of fun too thinking about the like visuals and kind of the branding of the song as well because it's such a visual song, especially in those
feels like
verses. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
And
completely.
so I really actually love the artwork that we came up with. I don't know if you've seen it. You must have seen it. Yeah.
I
Because
think I mean I've seen the single artwork, yeah, for Spotify and everything.
yeah, exactly. With like the sort of veil over my face, and it's
Yeah,
very dramatic and cinematic, which is sort of my thing. And I love that like
it's you.
I sorry, go ahead.
It's you. That's so you. That's cinematic and
Yeah.
pop and just glamorous. I love
No one's ever looking at me and being like, "Oh, she's so subtle."
it.
But I also love that like I was able to create that artwork with like a team of women because that's obviously something
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I like really value.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I just think it's a really fun song to sing, which for me is always a really good indicator that it was kind of a meant to be song,
yeah.
you know? And
I
I actually got to sing it it made its UK radio debut the first week on New Year's Day. I did this like live from home radio show and I sang that
yeah, yeah.
song. And it's just so fun to sing and it's one of those songs that reminds me of why I love music and why I love to sing.
I love it. I love it. When you go to that B section in the chorus too, every time I get chills.
You know
And
which
like,
other part I love that was kind of a last second addition is the bridge.
oh yeah, I love the bridge.
It's sort of this like weird edgy moment, and I don't think we even wrote that on the original day that we wrote the song,
Mhm.
right? That
No,
came
we
later.
kept sending voice notes back. Yeah,
Hmm.
because we
Yeah,
tried a few different ones.
that's the other thing that is so crazy about songwriting too is like so we wrote the song, we were together at Viv's apartment, but the bridge, I don't even think we were in the same room at any point when that came together. I think you're right, we were just sending back voice memos. coming up with
What was
ideas,
that?
and that was the one that kind of clicked. And it was last second. I think I was going in to record the final vocal, and I was like, "Oh shit, I need a bridge."
That was why I remember you'd hit me up like every couple months, and you were like, "Hey, can you send me the guitar loop? Can you send me the?" And it would be like one random thing. And I was like, I was just getting excited. I was like, "Yeah, like here," and and I was like, "When can I hear?" And you're like, "Soon, soon, soon. I promise."
I know. I was
So
always like, "Soon." Soon is the worst word to hear too, because they're like, "Well, when is that?"
no, dude, it was worth it. Patience is good.
Well, and I'm glad that it came together in the way that it did too, because this is my second single. Lola came out in
Yeah,
October, and it really feels like the perfect follow up to Lola in terms of the storyline. And for me, this is part of a bigger EP. And
amazing.
Lola was about this moment where you kind of realize that like bad shit happens, and you just kind of have to accept that and acknowledge it, and ignorance is not always bliss. But then Pity
Yeah,
Party
true.
to me is like the perfect follow up, because it's like, that's still sad, when you have to kind of become an adult and realize that bad shit happens and that there are hard times in life,
True.
you want to be sad about it.
Yeah, but you twist it in such a great way on the song, in such a tongue in cheek. You're taking control in a way. You're acknowledging it and vulnerable, but you're taking control of that sadness and just twisting it. I love that.
Well,
It's
and that's
great.
so important to me too, which I'm so grateful for you that you always embraced this. Is I
Yeah,
always want to come at things, even if it's a sad song, even if it's a breakup song, from a place of empowerment, and I
for
think
sure.
these little girls and these whoever who follow me and listen to my music, it's so important for me that they hear a message of self love, even if it is a sad song. Pity Party is arguably
Yeah,
one of my sadder songs, but it's coming at it
right.
from a place of like, we didn't judge that sadness, we really owned it. And
Yes.
I always just love writing with you, because I was actually talking about this in an interview recently. My favorite people to work with are the ones who are not afraid of my crazy and my like weird ideas, and they really like own
Yeah, for
them and
sure.
run. I always say it's like getting on a train, and it's a speeding train, and whoever wants to jump on board with me, those are my favorite types of people.
I love that. I love that.
And you've always been very good at that, so I appreciate it.
I'm very appreciative of the ideas. 'Cause- no, it's great. You don't because you don't stifle any ideas that you have. You like run with it and see if it works, and then you know within minutes if it works or doesn't.
And
And it's always
sometimes
worth
too,
exploring that.
right, and sometimes too, it's not, we've done sessions where we didn't even get a song out of it. And I would just come
Yeah,
to vent to you, and you would like talk me down mentally, and then we didn't even leave with a song. And that's okay too. And there's something really important about those days as well, I think,
absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know? And I think what's cool is that like you and
absolutely.
I have developed a friendship too. So it makes it so much easier to write these songs and to like get deep and personal with them.
100%. And it didn't feel like I think like it's nice to feel like a therapy session for both of us, and you can both say the things that are pissing you off or the things that you're
Mhm.
stoked about in the business. And like I don't know, I think it's nice to have that, yeah, like you said, that friendship that's past just like a working like name or something, and you're
Mhm.
just trying to get something done. You're actually like invested in the moment.
And I always say, I think, I like, doing first sessions with people that you've never worked with before is fine, but it can be really
Yeah,
challenging, because it's like going on a first date, but you have to get vulnerable so quickly. But I really enjoy working with people who, there's this small group of people, and you're one of those people who just, every time I walk into the room, I feel safe. I feel like I can
yeah,
go to the deepest parts of my brain and my heart to find whatever needs to be said, and I won't be judged, and you guys will get on that train with me. And so
yeah.
I'm so glad that we finally got to put out a song together, because we've written so many together.
I know. And you're one of my favorites just because every time I like you'll get on a train of thought, and I love it because you'll come out with like an idea, and I'm like, every time I'm like, okay, and then 5 minutes later we're like a page deep in it. I'm like, fuck, this is going somewhere great, and it's always and then you'll like every time you'll just catch it, and it's nice because at first you're like, I was like writing this, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, and then it just goes 10 steps ahead. I love it.
Songwriting is such a weird just it's a weird world, you know. We literally start with nothing, and by
Yeah,
the end of the day, you created something that didn't exist a few hours ago.
out of thin air, right? It's so
So
weird.
crazy. How are you doing with
And
like the pandemic and everything? Are you doing okay? Have you just been, are you in LA right now?
yeah, I mean, so we actually moved to Glendale, which has been very very chill because it's the burbs, so I get to be outside a lot, which
That's
is nice.
nice.
Where I go crazy,
Yeah.
but no, it's been good. I've been really productive,
Good.
and
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That's, have you been doing
and
Zoom sessions?
yeah, a good amount of Zoom sessions. And you know what I've been loving is just kind of just cooking up tracks and then sending them out, and
Oh,
like
that's
letting
awesome.
artists do their thing on top and take their time and then send something back. So
Yeah. Because for people who don't know, I mean, obviously every industry has been hit so hard by this whole situation, just I
yeah,
think in ways that like we never could have envisioned. But for us, normally we're in person every single day writing songs. Like that's pretty much what I do
yeah.
every day of my life. So
Mhm.
it's been interesting having to adjust to do things on Zoom and still
Yeah,
be
it's a different
creative.
vibe, huh?
Yeah.
How have you felt about that?
To be honest, I was very productive at the beginning of the pandemic. I was writing tons of
Yeah,
songs, sort of similar in the way that you were doing it. Like I would have people send me just loops or tracks and I would just top line them. And I was really
yeah,
enjoying it. But I kind of got to a point where I was like overwhelmed by the amount of songs that I had. And I was like, maybe
yeah,
what I need to focus on right now isn't writing more songs. So I've really just been focused on, which is perfect timing because I just put out music and I'm putting out music. So I've been much more focused on trying to get people to hear it and trying to kind of build my fan base and making content. And I've really been
yeah.
having fun with it, but I've definitely been feeling a little eager to get back. I have that writing bug in me. You know what I mean? So I'm like a little bit
Yeah,
anxious to
of
get back to
course.
writing. But
That's
it's,
cool.
yeah.
How are you feeling about like shows? Are you getting really excited?
Oh, I want to
Uh,
go back to live shows like more than anything. That's for me
yeah,
my number one thing is like being on stage.
that's
So
yeah.
I'm definitely eager to get back to it, but I think we still have a couple months at least before that.
I have no clue, but I'm excited. You gotta let me know the second you're playing. So
Duh, of course. Have you ever seen me play Pity Party live?
no, I haven't seen Penny
Oh
Party
my
live.
God. Okay, well we'll definitely have to make that happen.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be cool to see.
that's to me, Pity Party is its own moment in a live show because it's I don't have that many kind of slower, more ballady types of songs. And those are the ones where you, I mean, you've played live shows your whole life, right? Like
Yeah,
there is a moment where when you play a slower, more emotional song, where you just get to connect with the audience in a way that you can't when you're like dancing around. And so I'm just so excited
true. Yeah,
to get to do that.
that's dude. I'm so excited to see you play live.
I can't wait. Hopefully soon.
How is that? Yeah, and obviously Lola too. That was a great first single.
Thank you.
Loved it.
It was so, that one was funny because, I wrote that by myself. And so I never really had the sounding board of somebody else telling me if they thought it was good or
Yeah,
not. And I
it
didn't
was
think I
great.
liked it at first. And then I played it for enough people who were like, wait, this is sick. That I decided that I, maybe should run with it.
Dude, I remember you played me the demo, and I was like, "Ooh, awesome."
I was always playing you like just piano vocal demos, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Which is the
Well, yeah.
best way, honestly, to know, you know?
That's what I was going to say is that's so important to me
Yeah,
because I really believe, and I think you have the same philosophy, that good songs are good as just stripped demos. They don't need a ton of
yeah,
production to be a strong
yeah.
song. The production just takes it to a new level. And so
Absolutely.
that was
Yeah,
something with Pity Party. I mean, that song was just your guitar loop and my voice for months.
yeah. And then people
So
got hip to that, just the vocal and guitar. So like, and then obviously Smarter Child did a banger
yeah,
job with that.
he's amazing.
So,
I feel so lucky that he
yeah,
was.
how'd you get hooked up with him?
We got introduced through a friend of mine who's a manager. And, I was really at a place, which I think but I was like, I want to work with producers who are really legit and who are really experienced and who can take me to the
Yeah,
next level. I don't want to just stay stagnant. But for people who don't know, that's sometimes really hard because they're used to getting really big fees from labels, or
Mhm.
they're used to working with big names, and I was a
Yes.
nobody, unsigned, and had no money to pay for it. So it was like I wasn't the most appealing candidate, so I had to really hope that they just loved the music. And fortunately, I actually
Exactly.
sent him a folder of songs, and this was the one that he just connected with. And we never even met in person when he did the production. It was all over phone call and FaceTime and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but I
Which
just
happens so much, surprisingly, and like
totally.
that's one thing the pandemic has shown me is that like it's like with people like you and artists who are so strong at what they do, you could be in a completely different country and write a song, produce a song out, produce a single, and it just turns out to be this like I don't know, this amazing
I
thing.
think it's gonna actually really affect the way that music is made in the future, because
Yeah.
normally, somebody makes a record and then they tour that record for a significant amount of time,
Yeah.
and then they come home and then they make a new record. And so there's a couple of years between records often. But I think
Mhm.
this will really change the way that people do it, because we've learned that you can make music from anywhere. So you could be on tour in some random place where there's no musicians to even work with, and you're just making a song over FaceTime. As long
It's
as you have a good
amazing,
mic.
honestly.
That's my theory. So
Absolutely. And
anyway,
you know what? It totally like it also like separates people. Like you got to bring something to the table, and that's like the beauty of it too. It's like
yeah.
if you can't cut it, you're probably not going to work much.
That's so true, because in the past, before the pandemic, when everything was in person, there was a lot of situations where someone would be in a writing session and not actually contribute that much, and they were sort of a vibe person or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
Which is great.
fine.
You need that as well.
Right. You
But
need that for sure when you're in the room with people. But I think over FaceTime, there's not really a reason, to have those people. So you better be
the
contributing
vibe, yeah,
something.
yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah.
Well, anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just wanted to come on here and chat about the song. I'm so excited that it's out. I am
Thank
so
you.
grateful to you just for everything you've done for me, and you've been such an amazing friend and co-writer and collaborator. And I'm so proud of our little song baby.
I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of you. Like seriously, it's been watching you take these next steps and everything. I'm so excited for the next few years to just watch
I
you grow.
appreciate that. You've been one of those people that I've heavily leaned on, because I'm an emotional wreck, but everyone knows that.
No, that's good. That's good. You come up with good songs because of that.
Well, thank you so much. I hope I can see you soon. I hope you guys are staying safe. And
Yes.
thanks to everybody who watched this. Go stream our song, Pity Party.
All right, Morgan.
Bye, Viv. See you later.